Welcome back, everybody, to the Pick and Roll on the Board YouTube channel for our very first episode of the new year 2024. Happy New Year to all of our viewers and everyone out there. Thank you so much for supporting us over the course of 2023. We absolutely had a great year on the channel, and we're hoping to have another great one on the way this year. So you can start us off on the right foot by hitting that like button to support the show, helping drive this up on that YouTube algorithm, finding some more viewers to the channel. And if it's your first time here and you want NBA free picks every weekday morning at 9:45 a.m. Eastern time, you can also get yourself subscribed to the channel. So you're going to help us hopefully start the new year off right with the support on the channel. And hopefully these two free picks on today's show can help start your new year off on the right foot in terms of winning some NBA bets. We have two free picks for today, both of which are available at BetMGM, one of which is just a one-player, straight-up player prop, and the other one is a two-leg SGP. So let's get into those picks right now and start off the year. First of all, we are going to the Bulls and 76ers game to grab Tobias Harris under 17.5 points for minus 120 odds at BetMGM. And in the second play, it is the two-leg SGP as the Celtics visit the Oklahoma City Thunder. We are going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 30-plus points, and the OKC alternate spread at plus 12.5 for minus 115 at BetMGM. All right, Pips. First of all, Happy New Year. Second of all, let's get into the picks and hear why you like, first of all, this Tobias Harris under.
So Embiid is clear to play tonight, and Tobias Harris numbers with Embiid lately have been kind of dry. He didn't score much. So if you take a look, this is last 14 games when he played 25 or more minutes with Joel Embiid, under in 10 out of the last 14. Overs against the Hawks and Pistons. That's like the easiest matchup you can have in the entire season. And yeah, I mean, this number is too high but when Embiid is playing, and everyone is healthy on 76ers. So yeah, 17 and a half is it's a bit high for me. Last couple of games he was great. He had so many great games with Embiid off. 27 against the Heat, 22 against the Magic, 22 against the Houston Rockets. Yeah, but those three were without Embiid, and Embiid is by far the highest usage player. And when he was out, the game against the Magic, Maxi was blitzed. Game against the Houston Rockets, Jabari Smith and Dylan Brooks were out. Miami Heat put a ton of pressure on Maxi. So these were not that difficult matchup as maybe it sounds, and especially without Embiid, he kind of inflated his numbers to this point. Last game with Embiid, his lines were 14.5, 15.5, and I think they should be there now with Embiid being back. Also, interesting, one of the most interesting things so far this season. They played Bulls on 18th of December, and Embiid was playing in that game. And Tobias Harris played 32 minutes and scored only 3 points. Took only took only three shots in the entire game, playing 32 minutes with both Maxi and Embiid. And even in the last game, he had crazy run without Embiid, and then they played Bulls in the last game, and he still scored only 15 points, didn't cover even without Embiid. So yeah, his usage gets a heavy hit when Embiid is out there, and now Bulls seems like doesn't fit well with Harris, and that makes sense because he loves to drive to the rim, and they are taking that away. And he loves to shoot some middies out of isolations. They are taking that away. So I can see Tobias being in a catch and shoot role tonight again in the corner, and one-on-one matchup against Patrick Williams. Not a great matchup for him. Patrick is a great defensive player, especially when you try to isolate against him. That's like very difficult to score against. So yeah, I just think this number is a bit inflated. So I think this should be 15 and a half, and maybe it closes close like 16 or maybe even 15.
Yeah, with these single player prop types of bets we've had in this season, we have managed to get some really nice closing line value. So hopefully,
Hmm.
as we up the volume as the season goes on, we start to see more results in terms of winning on these numbers. But hopefully, a good spot here. There was a question you mentioned players coming back. Shabdul in chat is asking about the Melton absence. Do you think this will have any sort of effect on Harris? Or you still, I mean,
Uh,
obviously, comfortable with
yeah,
the board.
I don't think Melton will have much of an impact for with Tobias Harris. Like Melton, if he played in this game, Melton will just be a catch and shoot guy, and I don't think that impacts at all.
Okay. So a little bit of extra confidence on this one for Harris for anybody concerned about the injury to Melton. But let's move to the second play here. As we said earlier, minus 115 odds to grab SGA 30 plus points and OKC on the alternate spread of 12 plus 12 and a half as they host the Celtics. Let's hear the handicap behind this one.
So the way Shea is scoring is mostly via isolation and pick and roll ball handler. The Boston Celtics are kind of surprising, allowing so many points to opposing point guards. So over the course of the season, they allowed the third most points to opposing point guards, below San Antonio Spurs and Pistons, which is kind of surprising. They allow even more points to the point guards than Milwaukee Bucks, which is insane considering they have Derek White and Drew Holiday there. But that's the way they defend. They just put Drew Holiday or White on the opposing guards, and they don't help. They just let them try to score. And to be honest, that's not efficient way to score. Like scoring one on one against Drew Holiday and Derek White is, yeah, if you contain everyone else and let them attack Drew Holiday and Derek White for the entire game, they should be good, and they are good there. But Shea is different kind of beast. I don't think like insanity. Like no way stopping him. If you take a look at the season, he covered this line in 20 out of 24 games with 30 or more minutes. Insane season so far for Shea. He's just all over the place. Like, yeah. And considering this, looking at this, most teams out of on this graph actually double team Shea, and he still covered. And now he gets single coverage against Boston Celtics. Last season he scored 37. Yeah, I mean, so many guys had success, and I think Shea should cook in a one-on-one matchup. And yeah, they switch also a lot, so he could get isolation against Jalen Brown or anyone else, or even when they switch Porzingis on him or Horford. Yeah, he should be in a good spot there. And I honestly love Shea in every game when I know opponent will defend him just with single coverage because he is very difficult to stop, and he'll get to the line, he'll get to the rim, he'll get to his middies, and it's not that uh, he will need to have a high field goal attempts game because everyone else is not capable of attacking a one-on-one. You can Dort is a like spot up shooter. Giddy can't make any advantage against anyone on this team on the Boston Celtics. So it will be like a lot of like, okay, let's give it to Shea with 10 seconds left and let him try to do something, and he'll do. I expect him a high usage game from Shea here. The last second part of this handicap is so far this season. Uh, OKC covered this spread in all but one game so far. So out of 31 games they played, they covered this in 30 games. So only one game they didn't cover this, and it was blowout loss against Denver. And since then they won against Denver at home by one, like crazy clutch shot by Shea, and then like a week ago or even less, they blown Denver away by 26. Like there are rare teams in the last 5 years that can say that they blown Denver at their home. So yeah, they're playing insane. The last couple of games, they won by 23 against the Wolves, again by 9 against the Knicks, 26 against the Denver, and 16 against the Nets. All pretty comfortable wins, easy wins for them. Yeah, Boston is different kind of beast, but they are on the road, and I trust Thunders to stay close in this game at home.
All right, so there you have it for the bets for today. We'll also talk a little bit later on about the big trade over, well, I'd call it a big trade over the weekend, OG Anunoby to the New York Knicks. Before that, we're going to recap the previous show's plays, which were on Friday. We took yesterday off for the holiday, and unfortunately, end the week on a bit of a sour note here. Extra sour when you consider the manner in which we lost. We had a good week. It was a winning week as well, plus 2.8 units, but it feels like we could have gotten even more. It was a 1-2 day to end the year, minus 0.6 units. The big SGP never really got going. Donovan Mitchell easily covered his point line at 29.5. But where we really have the tough beat is in the Trae Young and Jalen Johnson SGP. Jalen Johnson does like pretty comfortably covers his lines, but Trae Young goes one half an assist under the 9.5 line that we had. And when you consider the fact he had 3 minutes into the second half, and he had one assist in his last 17 minutes on the floor, and they shot. I mean, the Hawks were shooting horribly on his potential assist in this one. It was a crazy loss. We get a half-point loss, and I understand that for assist lines, especially like 9.5 assist lines, it's not really high enough to consider it a hook necessarily. But as I say, when the beat is as bad as this and the player is as close for so much of the game, I use my discretion and say that I think this one should count. So the hook counter is off to a pretty bad start. Last season, we had a really bad start on this, and it ended up coming close to even by the end of the season. But this is another notch on the L column here. So we're 2-7 when it comes to winning, losing by half on a line. But Pips, yeah, talk to us about this Trae Young night and what happened with the Hawks shooters.
So I watched the entire game, then I go back and rewatched
Oh,
it again to just
oh
count
no.
potential assists from Trae Young. So the same part is not like high potential assist because the insane part is that out of 9 assists he had 5 were dunk, transition dunk. So you can miss those. Like very rare to miss those. So if you take those away, he had 4 assists on 19 potential assists, and
Right.
two were layups. So like easy layups, very difficult to miss them. So if you take a look at some shooting, there were 2 from 17 on his pass, on his assist, on shooting. So like they shot 2 from 7. Like even though Jalen Johnson missed two dunks on his assist, Kongu missed a dunk, Bay and Bogdanovic missed a layup on his assist, and everything else was 3-point shots. So insane, like expected assist in on this quality of shots. I rewatched the game and I like gave it the percentage of a make, and I think the realistic assists in this game were like 14 to 16 assists for Trae Young in that game. Insane, insane, and great start. As I said, up to 8 assists, 3 minutes into the second half. Played 18 more minutes. He played 21 minutes in the second half. He was on the floor all the time and didn't get assists all the time. Yeah, great stuff. I think
Yeah.
only like fourth quarter he had like 6 potential assists and they only made one. And yeah, insane game by the Hawks supporting cast. Like, and no one did anything. And in second half, they were up by 20 plus or more at one point and lost the game. So there is that too.
Just, yeah, tough all around, unfortunate. But let's start the new year off, hopefully on the right foot with the two plays we have today. Before we go into the recap, big trade over the weekend. Saturday, was it Saturday? Whichever day it was, the
Yeah,
Raptors have made a
Saturday.
move
Yeah.
here. It was Saturday. OG Anunoby being sent to the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks also are making some moves here. OG Anunoby goes to the New York Knicks along with some extra filler in Precious Achua and Malachi Flynn. And on the Raptors side of things, they acquire RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and a 2024 second round pick via the Detroit Pistons. So a very good second round pick at that. But OG Anunoby, overall, his fit with the New York Knicks, how much do you think this changes things for the Knicks as they try to vault themselves into the top of the Eastern Conference to get on par with the likes of the Celtics, the Bucks, and the 76ers?
I'm very high on OG as an impact player, always have been, and I think his impact is insane. And it went, I think it went a bit under the radar for with him playing with the Raptors, and now it gets the prime spotlight, and he'll get his, yeah, he'll get his. But the thing is, I'm kind of confused with them going for Anunoby after they lost Mitchell Robinson, because like after losing Mitchell Robinson, this season was, I would say, pretty much done, because they went from like third best defense in the league to the like fifth worst defense in the span of 50 games without Mitchell Robinson. Insane. And if they had Mitchell Robinson and went for OG Anunoby, they will be insane on defense, like point of attack. Anunoby defending every best player on the earth, and then you have rim protection and size by Mitchell Robinson inside. Then you have Grimes, Hart. Like it will be great team for the playoff environment. Now, I mean, they did improve, but do I think they are contender? If they had Mitchell Robinson healthy, I will actually like put them in like dark horse for the contention, because they have all the tools for the playoffs, and Randall is playing unbelievably good so far, and it will be insane like to even just watch them in the playoffs. But without Mitchell Robinson, I don't see them up there. But they for sure improved with this. They had some troubles with defense and point of attack. They solved it. They lack secondary creation now without Quickly, but maybe they make some other moves. We'll see. And that's on the OG part. And on the Raptors, I really love the Quickly fit there. I'm very high on Quickly as a player, and yeah, I think he'll be great for you guys. I mean, his pick and roll game, his pull up shooting, his defense, his hustling. Yeah, he'll be a great player for you guys, and the fit is perfect. You needed exactly the player like him. Second part of the trade, Reggie Barrett, I'm not high on. I actually hate him as a player. Like he was terrible so far for his career. Like nothing really going for him, and he's just trash high usage player that's just taking away possessions and shooting a low efficiency. But coming to the Canada could be a thing that could change the course on his career, and maybe he finally starts playing better now that he's at home. And yeah, if I one place for AJ to like change his career, I think it's Canada.
Yeah, so my thoughts on the trade. I think that the Knicks overall, I don't think they get that much better with this trade, which makes it a tiny bit confusing to do this. But from the Raptors perspective, I think they win this trade here to get this sort of valuation for OG, who's on an expiring contract anyways, is a very good job by the Raptors front office. I kind of agree with your sentiments on RJ Barrett. I will say that he's 23 years old. Perhaps Tom Thibodeau's not the best coach suited towards RJ's game. The fit feels a little bit clunky with the Raptors for sure, but there's room to grow, especially with what's supposed to be a very development oriented coaching staff in Toronto. But the real piece in this trade is definitely Emmanuel Quickly. And Raptors head coach Darko Rajakovic has already referenced that they really want to lean into Quickly's playmaking and his pick and roll ball handling. And we certainly saw that in his debut for the Raptors against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he looks exactly like the player the Raptors needed, exactly like the type of player that they needed, kind of like a Tyrese Maxey type of player, somebody who can really push the pace, handle the ball, run the pick and rolls, and can space the floor, can hit shots off movement as well. So Emmanuel Quickly, I think, is a really nice piece here. And I think, honestly, I think he falls a little bit under the radar coming off the bench in New York. I get he was a runner-up to Sixth Man of the Year last year, but his numbers have improved this season despite the fact that his minutes have dropped this season. So I think with a bigger role, there's a chance for something really to come out of this one in the future. So I think where this trade is won and lost will be on the development of Emmanuel Quickly. And I think that the RJ Barrett side of it, if he can start to get better, can the Raptors maybe mold him to kind of like an Andrew Wiggins type of player where, hey, we recognize, you're really talented and skillful, but if we tone down your role a little bit, you can now impact winning a lot more going forward. So if that maybe something like that can go down for Barrett, who, actually played well at 19 points against the Cavs yesterday, I think that this trade could go down as a big success for Toronto. For the Knicks, it'll probably be very results based. If this team challenges for a conference final berth, maybe they take their second round to like 7 games, hard fought series. I think that's something that the fan base would respect in New York. And result based as well. Can you keep OG beyond this season? OG's agent is, I believe, the son of Leon Rose. So there certainly is a possibility he stays beyond this season, which would make that one a lot more of a success for the Knicks. But that's really all I got in it. I guess I think the Raptors won the trade. Who would you say won the trade if you had to pick? Or would you just say it was an even trade?
I would say in terms of value, I think it's an even. I think
Okay.
both teams got what they want.
All right. Fair enough on there. All right. That will be all for today. Like I said, we have the 2 picks on the show today, hopefully getting us started in the new year on the right foot. First of all, in the Bulls and 76ers game, we're taking Tobias Harris under 17.5 points for -120 odds at BetMGM. Our second play is in the Celtics and Thunder game. We're going Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 30-plus points, and the Oklahoma City Thunder on the alternate spread of 12.5. -115 on that one for the SGP. Let's go find some winners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you guys are tailing the picks, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more betting content like this every weekday morning, 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, for more from Pick and Roll.